Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Frisco Report. It's day 2 of, having no headaches with the contract. Cowboys, like I said, they got the Cowboys, going for the season with the contract for Dak Prescott. No more waiting. We don't have to worry about this anymore. So, guys, thanks for everybody that's joining us live in effect in the chat box. We do appreciate you guys. Make sure you click like, subscribe, and share on this if you haven't already. But that's it, man. We got the deal done. It's a 4-year deal for the most part. Can go up to $164 million, 126 guaranteed. So, drafting a quarterback, that's off the board. Here we go. So let's see what the Cowboys do. I think this will open up free agency now. The draft will be able to concentrate on this sort of thing. But before we get started, Mike, what do you think about the deal for Dak Prescott here?
I still don't know how to feel, Joe. I made a video yesterday. I can't get overly excited about it because, yes, it's only $22 million this year on the cap, but you're going to be 18 shy or 18 more overload somewhere else down the line on this 4-year deal. I think his last year he's making $48 million or something, 47, some crazy number, almost $50 million to play quarterback. I think even with that, they had to do a lot of restructuring to even get back over the cap. Over the cap has them $1 million underneath the cap. They got to restructure Amari, Tank, Zach Martin, and maybe Zeke to get some splashes in free agency. Again, that's putting a credit card, because that's going to get signing bonus to push back into another year. So the salary cap is going to keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling. So to me, Joe, I just don't know how to feel. I'm not overly excited about it. I'm not underexcited about it. I'm just, we'll see what happens. He has to win a Super Bowl. This is your all-in move. You got money right behind a guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. You got to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's where we're at, guys. It is, so Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, they're married together here. It's time to make that run. Mike, you made a good point. It's all in on Dak, and that's what this team needed to do. They needed to get out of this franchise tag mode because next year it just wouldn't have been possible. And next year's QB draft class is super bad. There's not a good prospect next year. So, I don't know if the Cowboys felt good about where they're at number 10, if they wanted to move up or whatever. But it's good that this is off the monkeys. The monkeys off our back. So now we have more, versatility to do something here at pick number 10, to do some things in free agency. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, we're going to have to restructure contracts. That's a no-brainer there. The usual suspects will get that. Your vets that you're going to plan on keeping here for a while: D-Law, Amari Cooper, Zach Martin, and these types of players. They'll open up money. Chris Jones, he'll get cut. There'll be some cuts here too that'll open up money. So we'll be fine there, but we'll get into that. So first thing, guys, how is everybody feeling in the chat box about the extension? Please let us know if you like the extension. Do you like it? Do you not like it? How do you feel about it? Let us know in the comments how you guys feel about this Dak Prescott extension. All right, Mike, so today is another day of pro days. We had a very big one here today, and we're going to talk about 2 prospects here in particular that the Cowboys have interest in. And let's go ahead and talk about this here, guys. And we're talking about March 9th pro day. We're talking about Northwestern, baby. So let's get into this. let's get into this. Who's ready? We're talking about Greg Newsome. All right. He's one of the top prospects in this NFL draft. The Cowboys were in attendance. All right, everybody. So the Cowboys have a keen eye. They are in the market for DBs and some other areas we'll talk about here. But right now, Greg Newsome, I had him in a mock draft of mine, and I had him in the second-ish round, somewhere in that range. But you are starting to see some mock drafts kind of kicking up Greg Newsome into the first round. So he ran an unofficial 4.31 in the 40, Mike. So good size, good speed, had a breakout season this last year, Mike. What do you think about Greg Newsome out of Northwestern?
You said it best, Joe. He's definitely a game changer. A 6'1", 190 pounds, excellent height, excellent size. For the cornerback, sorry, there's no COVID here. It's allergies. So if I sound a little raspy, work with me. But I like him as a corner. I like his instincts. I like his coverage. I think if the Cowboys go in and draft this guy, I think it'll be good for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a player of interest for sure. What do they do with free agency? And we'll take a look at that. But depending on what they do there, do they get a former familiar player like a Sherman? Do you want to go that route, an older player? Do you want to go somewhere else? We always talk about getting more speed on this defense, Mike, right? And we know that Dan Quinn has liked more speed here recently, especially with the Falcons. They got more speed, on the field. And Greg Newsome, he really checks that box. If the Cowboys are going to stick with that height, metric with their cornerbacks, he checks that off. So you got the speed, you got the size. I think this is a player you should keep an eye on. Greg Newsome, guys. And they're at Northwestern, so the Cowboys were in attendance there. So high interest in this player. Keep an eye on him. If you haven't looked at him, guys, go check out Greg Newsome. Great player there. He will help out the team. Another player here that the Cowboys have interest in at this pro day is the Beast of Beast. And we're talking about no one but this man right here. And he is a man. He is a man amongst boys, and that is this guy right here. Rashawn Slater, guys. All right. Like I said, Cowboys were confirmed to be here at the Northwestern Pro Day, everybody. So looking at Greg Newsome, looking at Rashawn Slater. Okay, Rashawn Slater tweeted this out. I'm the best tackle in the draft. At the same time, I'm a team player. So if a team wants to play me at guard, so be it. I'm all for it. Rashawn Slater. So this guy, you do have teams that may want to put him in the inside there at guard, but he's played tackle at a high level. We know the story. Everybody's seen it. What he's done to Chase Young at the collegiate level. Obviously, round 2 or whatever, the rematch in the NFC East might go a little different. Chase Young's got some more tools in the with more experience and that sort of thing. But there's something to be said about a player that was able to stifle him at the collegiate level. I love what I saw out of this pro day. What you see on tape and what you see at the pro day, you see a player that is prepared. Very professional player. He was an opt-out. Obviously, he didn't play, but you can see that he has taken this craft seriously, Mike. I mean, he's prepared himself for this moment, Mike. I mean, he looked heavy-handed. He ran a 4.88. A sub-5 in the 40 for a man this size. Amazing. I mean, he had an explosive workout. Mike, what's your thoughts on Rashawn Slater, tackle, Northwestern?
The biggest thing that sticks out is 6'4", 304 pounds. To me, that's typical guard. That's typical guard right there. That's Zach Martin's size, right? And then you talk about the 4.88, sub-5 in a 40, Joe. Man has heart, charisma. You talk about the Chase Young tape. Put him in his place. I like this stuff. I like this guy. When Tyron Smith got to where Tyron Smith is at now, he would make the top 100. And his peers would say, he got everything down. Now he's just working on bettering his technique. This guy right here, Joe, that you have on the screen can be that. All he has to do is just he has the fundamentals down. Now he has to work on technique and get that technique better, like Tyron Smith did early in his career.
Yeah, for sure. A very good product. Obviously, like any other rookie, they need to refine their skill. And what I really like, our offensive line coach, I think, was a little underrated. We're talking about Joe Philbin. What he was able to do with some of these guys, and you saw the development. As much as we didn't like Terrence Steele, you did see some development, some improvement as the season went along. Albeit he's still going to be a developmental backup player. Brandon Knight, I think, held his own in spot duty there, and in rotation with Irving at left tackle. But I think if you bring him into the system, you bring him in here with Joe Philbin, Mike McCarthy, and I think he would do really good for the Cowboys. Now, I see some people saying he won't be there. You don't know. Nobody knows. Now, if he is there, do you guys want to take him there? That's my question to you guys. If he is there at number 10 and the Cowboys are on the clock and Rashawn Slater is there, would you guys take him? I would. I want to protect my investment in Dak Prescott. You cannot count on Tyron Smith. We don't know about Lyle Collins. And, Connor Williams, this is his contract year. They're not going to re-sign Connor Williams. I can tell you that. So, do you feel good about sliding in McGovern into that left guard position? Do you want to get better on the offensive line, whether it be at the guard for this year and then kick him out, if something happens to Tyron Smith, because something will happen to Tyron Smith. He might play 8 games for you this year, Mike. So, I feel good about him at guard, right? But if you need him, and you will, I think that's a good move, a very versatile lineman for the Cowboys there. Mike, let me ask you, if he's there at 10, are you taking him there?
Yeah, absolutely right. I am, Joe. And I've been thinking about this draft, Joe, and I've been thinking about Cowboys picking defense in the first round. It hasn't been good. Taco Charlton bust. Morris Claiborne bust. Who else have they picked? Byron Jones, first-round talent, not even on the team anymore. He played 3 different positions in the 5 years he was a Cowboy. He's not even on the team. If they go offensive line where they've hit gold on in the drafts, I'm all for it, Joe. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Joseph Cologne, how much you want to bet Slater's gone before 10? It's quite possible, man. I mean, from what he's done on tape and everything he's played, there's some talk that he could go before Penei Sewell. So yeah, man, he definitely could go before 10. But it's also possible that he doesn't go at 10. We'll see how the draft shakes out. It depends on some of these team needs. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks going in that top 10 before the Cowboys. That's going to push down talent to the Cowboys. That's what you want, and that's how I see this thing shaking out ultimately. But when you think about high-end linemen, you talk about a Zach Martin, a Quentin Nelson. If you want to put him at guard, those are the gold standard, right? Quentin Nelson, Big Q, and Zach Martin, the Gob. That's the gold standard at the guard position. Is Rashawn Slater that? I wouldn't say he's that, but he has the potential to be definitely a cornerstone offensive lineman for some team around here. So, yeah, I definitely will not be surprised if he goes top 10. I think he will be a top 10 player. If he's there, I'm taking him. No doubt about that. No hesitation. All right, guys. So we got the pro day out of the way. We do have more pro days coming up. Make sure you come back to the channel and check back for some more pro day updates and who the Cowboys have interest in. You know where to go for who the Cowboys met with. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter, CowboysBlogNet _Cowboys Corner. We're going to have you covered for all prospect visits, who the Cowboys have met with. Okay, I already gave you guys the down low on Elijah Molden. All right, so Cowboys did a virtual with him. Cowboys have interest here at Northwestern. So we're rocking and rolling with the Cowboys' interest as they come. Make sure you keep it here for the latest updates, guys. All right, Mike. So what we want to talk about now is we're coming up on legal tampering week coming up here. So we got legal tampering week coming up for free agency. That's where we're going here with this. Like I said, we got the DAC contract out the way. We're going to see a flurry of restructures, like you said, Mike. There's going to be the restructures. They're going to open up the bank there to make some kind of moves here, Mike. So with that being said, let's talk about some free agent targets the Cowboys may be interested in, Mike. Give me some names that you think the Cowboys might have interest in, Mike.
Mine right here is when they do all these restructures and they can maybe afford a couple of pieces. They won't be able to afford a lot. Bud Dupree, he's been in the league a little bit. He's coming up as a free agent with the Steelers. I really like that. He had 8 sacks last year, 11 and a half before that. And he's had 4 or more sacks his entire career. I think he'd come in here, help his defensive line, get some run stuff ability. Dupree it would be my guy, Joe. That would be my number one guy to go
Yeah, Bud Dupree. So, he kind of had a slow start to his career, but, he really turned it on, became a pretty big asset there, especially for the Steelers, right? So, it doesn't look like they're going to keep him. They definitely didn't franchise tag him. And we're going to see a lot of these players hit the market. We're already seeing a lot of teams that have already passed the franchise tag. Like they didn't tag a lot of good quality players, and we're gonna talk about that. But Bud Dupree, man, put him in the mix. I like that. I like that pick a lot, man. That's a good one. Who else you got?
Another one I got for you, Joe, would be Shelby Harris for the Denver Broncos. You turn on the tape. He runs a 3-4 defense. When he was with Wade Phillips, when he was with Wade Phillips, they did run some 4-man stunts. He played the 1 technique. You could be a rotational police with Neville Gallimore there. Bring on Shelby Harris to this team. I think he's going to upgrade your team. You turn on the tape, he's everywhere on the football field. Blocking, putting his hands up, batting balls down, blocking field goals, getting sacks. I like some Shelby Harris. That'll be my second pick, Joe.
Yeah, that's a name that I've seen pop around here as far as defensive tackles. That's a good one, Mike. I like Shelby Harris. I think he comes from a good defensive unit there for the most part. Although Denver's kind of they're having some rough times here trying to figure things out there. John Elway hasn't done a very good job there. I think that's why he kind of stepped away and moved into a different role there in the franchise. But yeah, man, we definitely need help there. The question is going to be how much money are the Cowboys going to be willing to spend? Are we looking at being players in the first wave of free agency? What's your gut feeling on that, Mike? Are we going to be players in the first week of free agency?
Absolutely
Legal tampering?
Not. Absolutely not. Cowboys have the tendency of paying players and then sitting on their hands in free agency. They did it with DeMarcus Lawrence. They've been doing it ever since they signed Brandon Carr. Let's be honest. They're going to sit on their hands. We're not going to get big names. We got a lot of draft picks. They're going to try to bank on every single one of those draft picks. Stephen Jones, his mindset is you got to build your team when the draft and then keep your star players when they come up. Lawrence, Jalen Smith, Dak Prescott, Zeke, these guys, the household names, so to speak, and then fill in your turnover with draft picks. They're not going to go heavy in free agency.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Mike. And I know that there was a lot of excitement yesterday with the signing of Dak Prescott, and immediately, a lot of us were talking about, what do we do now? What's the next conversation? Everybody, Dalvin Tomlinson. I don't see that happening. They franchise tag Leonard Williams. I mean, it would be great. Don't get me wrong. I would love Dalvin Tomlinson. I think this is exactly what you need for this defense. A big guy. But he's going to command a big price tag, a very, very big price tag. I think when the number comes out for Dalvin Tomlinson, I think people are going to be like, oh, wow, this guy got freaking paid, bro. And the Cowboys are not that. They're not going to pay more than the market value for a high-end defensive tackle, which is Dalvin Tomlinson. If they're able to pull that off, I mean, that would be the perfect offseason, but I don't see that happening. I like Shelby Harris. A couple of guys I like, Mike, are Jaleel Johnson out of Minnesota, 26 years old, 6'3", 316 pounds. So relatively another big type of guy, played under, Zimmer and that mauling defense. They didn't tag him as far as I know. I'll have to double check that, but that's a player the Cowboys will have interest in. They liked him back when he was coming out in the draft at the Senior Bowl. Larry Ogunjobi from Cleveland is another one, Mike, that I like. In 6'3", 305. These guys, the versatility is the key here. Some guys get stuck on the 1 tech, 3 tech. Dan Quinn likes defensive tackles, that can play, that can be interchangeable and have some speed, that have some size, some wiggle to them. Dancing bears, as Mike Mayock used to call some of these guys. And I think you get that with players like you mentioned, Shelby Harris, Jaleel Johnson, Ogunjobi. They need to, if they're not going to, if the Cowboys have no intention of drafting, defensive tackle in the first 3 rounds, they need to consider some of these guys in free agency.
Absolutely. Those are my D-line guys. Joe, I got some corners for you, some DBs, safeties. Shaquille Griffin, he's set to hit the free agency market. I think the Cowboys can go aggressive on there. I like his aggressiveness. He did kind of have a down year, a real inconsistent last 3 years. It could be the scheme of Seattle. The Legion of Doom kind of just fell apart. It's not even existed anymore. One interception last year, 2 before that. But I think with Dan Quinn's scheme, him coming in here, it's going to be very familiar with what he's used to. I think we can resurrect or make his career better in Dallas with Diggs to the opposite end of him.
That's okay for Shaquille Griffin.
Yep.
That's out of Seattle, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys take a look at a DB, and man, it just doesn't look like they're going to keep Chido. There's been zero conversation as far as any conversation about, there's whispers that there's going to deal be made or anything. As far as I can see, Chido on Instagram, he's out in California. I have a feeling he's going to sign with Marinelli, go reunite with him with the Raiders. Something tells me Chido's going to end up over there on the West Coast somewhere. So I think the ship is sailed there with Chido. And, probably I think a lot of us might be surprised how much he'll get in the market. But that's a good one. Cornerbacks, definitely there should be interest there, Mike. Any other DBs that you're interested in?
Absolutely. I got a safety here, Anthony Harris from the Vikings. I've always been a fan of him from afar. Kind of was a sub player, really came on the last 3 years. He had a real down year last year, but if Kirk Cousins your quarterback, what more can you ask for? 6 interceptions in 2019, 3 in 2018. Anthony Harris is becoming a free agent. I think the Cowboys could pursue him and we can get better on the back end. And I sound muffed up because I have an allergy infection.
Yeah, I do like Anthony Harris. Actually, I actually like what Zimmer does with his defensive backs there. They're pretty scrappy. They're pretty good. I like, Harrison, the other safety, Anthony Harris is another good one. I like both those safeties. So I wouldn't mind that. We'll see what they do there. We should be in the market for safety. I think they're going to do kind of what they did last year. You might see a familiar name recognition. Don't get completely, overboard, because we're going to see that. You'll see, we signed so-and-so. Who was the guy that we got last year, man?
Everson Griffin.
No, the safety. He sucked. Who was that guy? Yeah, okay, so we got Clinton Dix last year, right? A lot of people kind of jumped the gun like, all right, Clinton Dix, this and that. I was never a fan from it. I just sat back and was like, let me see how this is going to end. And it didn't end good. So we'll see. But he was kind of washed up as he was coming out in free agency. But these are kinds of the names that you might see. You might see some other familiar names. There's talk of Patrick Peterson, Mike. Possibly being a cut. I don't know if it's happened yet, if it's going to happen. But, talking about maybe not so much at cornerback, but they might give him the Charles Woodson treatment where you put him at, free safety or somewhere like that. Do you have any interest in Patrick Peterson if he's out there, Mike?
I have more interest in Patrick Peterson than I do Richard Sherman for a locker room standpoint, for a leadership standpoint. Patrick Peterson, obviously we drafted the wrong one a year late when Morris Claiborne. They both came from LSU. But go ahead and give me Patrick Peterson for a leadership standpoint on defense. We need some old school football mentality here. We're missing that on the defense side of the ball. We don't know what's going to happen with Sean Lee, but Sean Lee can't do everything. We need more leaders on this team. And Patrick Peterson, I feel like, could be that leader.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I really wouldn't. I agree. I think that might be one that's a low key if he's available, and I think Patrick Peterson kind of realizes he's not going to garner high end money. He's going to try to, but I think it's somebody that you might be able to pull off. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing some Keanu, Neal. Obviously, there's that connection there, Mike. That's going to be a common one that some people want to bring up. What the only thing I don't like about Keanu, Neal, he's injured a lot. This guy is never on the field. He seems like he's a little bit too banged up. He's had some injuries. Mike, do you think we're going to see a reunited former player with Dan Quinn, whether it be Keanu, Neal or maybe a Richard Sherman? Do you see any kind of reunions like that going on here, free agency?
I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think the team's moving in a different direction. It's going to be kind of, and I also want to see what they do with our free agents, who they keep. They're going to keep some of our free agents, right? I kind of want to see what they do, with Jordan Lewis and Chido and Xavier Woods. I kind of want to see what they do with our free agents, and then how do they build off that, and then that's really going to set up our draft board. But I don't see. Old players, I don't think they'll bring it. The only old player that I see come in would be a Gerald McCoy.
Yeah, I was about to hit on that. Gerald McCoy, they talked about, the Cowboys made it. It seemed like they made it a point when he had the injury that, we cut him, but we're going to want him back. Okay, well, talk is cheap. Do you really want him back? Are they going to bring back Gerald McCoy? Guys, in the comments, we appreciate you. 160 few viewers right now. Pound that like button, guys. Do you think the Cowboys will, in fact, bring back Gerald McCoy? Let us know in the comments if you think Gerald McCoy will be back. What do you think, Mike? Think Gerald McCoy comes back?
The Cowboys protected themselves, signed him on a 3-year deal, put that injury clause in there. They're going to do it again. The Cowboys ain't dumb. They like to protect themselves with contracts. That's why they don't make big splashes in free agency on day one in free agency, Joe. They wait a couple of days. They get the other players that they can put those clauses in, right? Where it's not going to be a lot of guaranteed money, where you can wash your hands with it after a year, maybe 2 years. This is how the Cowboys play. Gerald McCoy fits what they do in free agency.
Mm-hmm. Hey, at least Clinton Dix outran a bear. I love that comment. Asmado. That's hilarious, bro. He sure did, man. He had the back pedal, the hips. It looked good. You try to break down that tape where he ran his butt off from those bears or whatever it was.
Yeah, he had a good stride, man. He had a good stride.
Yeah, he did. That's a great comment. That might be my comment of the night there. That's hilarious. Man, I did see a super chat come by here. Where was that? Oh my gosh. That disappeared from my screen. I know we saw a super chat come by. Appreciate that. Appreciate
Joe,
you guys.
Let me ask you, Joe, out of our free agents on defense, who would you want to keep? Who would you want to come back?
From our free agents, who would I want to come back? Man, I don't want Xavier Woods back.
No.
I absolutely don't want. Chido. I just don't think they're going to be able to bring that one back, and I don't know if they want him back. Like you said, you made a great point. I think this team's definitely going in a different direction. These guys, they want to build their own team. They don't want to keep playing with Garrett guys. Obviously there are some Garrett guys on this team, but mainly we're talking about defense, right? I think you want to flush out all these guys on defense and build your own guys with a different kind of swagger. I think you hit it right on the head, Mike, to be quite honest. So, Jordan Lewis, maybe at nickel. I think he's okay at nickel, but I think you can find a comparable player in the draft, at nickel. I'm thinking about Elijah Molden. I'm thinking about Trent Brown. There's a lot of guys out here that could fill that nickel corner. You know what I mean, Mike? But yeah, there's not many. Alden Smith.
No,
I don't know. He started out hot. really fizzled out really hard. And I think you feel better. You feel better about Randy Gregory. So,
I
you
do.
know, and I think that kind of fills that void. Bradley and I, we saw Randy Gregory give really good props about Bradley and I. I think this new program, this new defense is going to utilize that some more. I'm talking about Bradley and I, Mike. So, man, that's a good question as far as who else do they want to bring back. If you're talking about wide receivers, maybe it's going to come down between Noah Brown or Cedric Wilson. If it were me, I would probably lean more towards I might flip a coin on that one, man, to be quite honest. Although I did like the improvement that I saw from Noah Brown last season. I think he looked a lot leaner. He looked faster, and he was healthy. He was finally healthy, Mike. So I don't know. I think I might go Noah Brown. I might stick with Noah Brown, let Cedric Wilson go.
Cedric Wilson, because he's that special team ace. He could be your little switch gadget army. Now, there were some plays that worked. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one that threw a touchdown to Dak Prescott. Cedric Wilson did. Was that right?
Yeah.
So I like little trickery plays. CJ Goodwin, I think, is a good one for special teams. I mean, this guy, he had some boneheaded mistakes, but he came and made up for a lot of it too. For special teams, give me CJ Goodwin for sure. Defense, give me Jordan Lewis. I like the dog in Jordan Lewis. He kind of gets like a little fresh start here with Dan Quinn, see what he can do. But again, if Dan Quinn uses that philosophy like Chris Richard used, because they're the same brain, right? Jordan Lewis ain't on this football team. So you got to keep that in mind too. Tyron Crawford, thank you for your services, but you are out of service.
Yeah, he's out of there. I know we had I just saw a good comment here. Hold on. Guys, appreciate everybody commenting in here. We'll get to them. Lamont, appreciate you, bro. Why can't we go all in for Dalvin and trade back and take Barmore for depth in the corner in the second and pay Sherman to play safety? I'm down. So, yeah. I think if you do an all-in move for Dalvin Tomlinson, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I wouldn't discard it, but it would go against what the Cowboys front office typically does, right? You know what I'm saying? For me, I would love it, but I think we're gonna look at the sticker shock once the numbers come out for Dalvin Tomlinson. But let's do a hypothetical, Lamont. Let's say that the Cowboys did go all in on Dalvin Tomlinson. You're probably done for the entire free agency, and you really are going to have to lean on the draft to fill in a lot of the departing players. So I don't know if the Cowboys would want to do that, but
I don't think
we'll see.
Sherman has enough tread on the tires to play safety. The dude's just too slow.
Well, I think that might be part of the reason why some people are thinking he could play safety. When you think about safety, you're looking at DBs that run a 4.6 or slower, right? Dion always says that at the NFL Combine and cracks me up. Oh, that guy ran a 4.6. He's a safety. he always says that, and I'm a firm believer in that as well. So if that's where Peterson, I mean, if that's where Sherman is at as far as speed, and I think it might be, yeah. I mean, you might take a look. Can he hold up though? That would be my only deal. He kind of gets dinged up a lot.
Yeah, he does. Crap, I was going to say something too, and I totally forgot.
Appreciate you, Lamont. Appreciate that, brother. I appreciate the other super chat that came in too. I totally missed it, bro. Whoever that was, please let me know in the comment box there, and I'll shout you out. Man, I saw somebody. One of our guys here, one of our regulars had a great comment here. I'm trying to find it. Where's it at? While I look for this, Mike, go ahead and bring up who else you'd like there in the free agency while I look for this comment.
Yeah, my last one was Rashawn Breeland. I liked him when he was with the Redskins. They were called the Redskins then, remember? So I could say that. I liked him with the Redskins. He went to Green Bay for a year and went to KC for 2 years. This guy's had an interception every year he's been in the league. He got 14 interceptions. I like the way Rashawn Breeland plays. I think if you bring him in here to the Cowboys organization, one of these corners, right, that we talked about, Griffin, Breeland, things of that sort, you put them with Trayvon Diggs, your defense is going to get better. You're not reaching. So if Slater is there in the 10th pick, you can go get him. and because you took care of your cornerback position. So Cowboys got a lot of moving pieces. Obviously, they have to do restructures first and work from that.
Yeah, Breland. It's one that's yeah, he did play for the Redskins, and where did he play recently? Was it the Chiefs?
Kansas. Yep.
Yeah, he'll be out there.
Kansas City, I meant to say, not Kansas State.
This is the comment I was looking for, Mr. Wright, Antoine Myers. Joe, who else we got to pass rush? I think this is a great question, Mike. Especially if we're talking about, kind of moving on from Aldon Smith and these guys. So where we sit right now, going into free agency and NFL draft, how do you feel about the pass rush? Any defensive ends that you like in free agency?
Oh, I just went over them, I thought. Who did I have? I forgot. Let me go back to my notes.
Yeah, so it's a good question, Mr. Wright. So we're looking at Randy Gregory. Obviously, he'll be,
that's who it was.
He'll be more involved. Say it again, Mike.
Bud Dupree.
Yeah, Bud Dupree. So yeah, Bud Dupree might be one. Some guys that I really like, Mr. Wright, is going to be Carl Lawson. I like him. The Bengals decided not to franchise tag him. Now, this Carl Lawson is going to come down to defenses have a certain kind of requirements, right? There's a lot of teams that passed on a D Ford. The same teams that passed on D Ford passed on Carl Lawson because he didn't have the long arms. But man, this guy, he gets to the quarterback. He's still young, 25 years old. He's 20 sacks, 83 QB pressures. But his hands are big, 10 and 3/8. So this is a guy I covered. I like him. I think Carl Lawson might be someone that's affordable. Romeo Okwara from Detroit, they decided not to franchise tag that guy. Another great young up-and-comer defensive end. Can play left end, can play right end. Just give me more pass rushers. That's really what I want. Okay, so Romeo Okwara from Detroit, he's hitting the market. He'll be out there. Trey Hendrickson, he's out there. Morgan Fox, Efe Abeda. This is a player the Cowboys, they brought in under the international deal. They may want to bring him back here. He has familiarity with our defensive line coach, Mike. So that might be another one there. But I think there's going to be some options there, Mr. Wright. So we'll see what they do there. Let me know what you guys think about pass rush. Is there any other defensive ends that they're going to be hitting the market that you guys like? I know Mike and I gave you a couple of them here. Anybody out there that you'd like as far as free agents for the Cowboys? Do you guys want to keep Aldon Smith? Let us know in the comments.
Hey, guys, real quick on the Frisco Report, guys, we got 173 viewers, 62 likes, guys. I need 5 of y'all right now to hit that like button. Just smash that thing right now. 5 people. Go. Bam.
Yeah. Pound that like button, guys. We do appreciate you guys checking us out here as we talk about everything from Dak Prescott, today's pro day with Northwestern, and now a preview of legal tampering that's coming up next week already. So we got that coming up, and we'll hit that hard and heavy again next week to see who's going to be rumored as possible, legal tampering for the Cowboys, if any. But like I said, we're going to see a lot of these big numbers come out. I think it's some sticker shock on some of these guys. I would love Dalvin Tomlinson. Don't get me wrong, guys, but think more about what the Cowboys are usually doing. Not so much those top end guys, but some of these other players that they might bring in here. But I think Mr. Wright is right on. Pass rush. This is something that the Cowboys have been chasing for a long time, it seems like. And let's remember, DeMarcus Lawrence is not getting any younger. He came in the same draft class with Zach Martin, So 2014, I think he's creeping up on 29 or so. He's getting up there, so he's not getting any younger. And I think you got to continue to bolster that defense. Cleveland Brown in the house. Appreciate you, bro. He says Carlos Dunlap. Seattle, not bringing him back. Any interest in Carlos Dunlap, guys? He's going to be available. What do you think, Mike? Do you like Carlos Dunlap?
I do like Carlos Dunlap. He's pretty consistent for the most part. I think you bring him in here. How long has he been with Seattle? Does anybody know? Did he ever play with Dan Quinn in 2013, 2014?
Nah, he was 1 year with Seattle, and before that, he was with the Bengals.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
What's interesting about Carlos Dunlap is that the comp. This is funny, man. This is a funny story. The comp for Taco Charlton was Carlos Dunlap, and obviously Taco was nothing like that. Carlos Dunlap is he can get to the quarterback. So, but can you do better? Is he more of a rotational kind of guy? I think Carlos Dunlap is more of a rotational guy, but I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate adding him into the mix, man.
Not at all.
Fernando Esquivel. Hey, Mike, what's your thoughts on Hassan Reddick, the Chronicles of Reddick?
Ooh. Who's he play for?
I think he was with the Cardinals. I don't know if he stayed there. Maybe Fernando, if you know. But I know the Cowboys had interest in Hassan Reddick when he was coming out in the draft. They were kind of trying to figure out if he was going to be off the ball linebacker or was he going to be a defensive end. Kind of I think he's been kind of a bust there, with the Cardinals. I don't know if he's still there, but
he had 12.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know. Might be someone to keep an eye on.
He had 12.5 sacks at linebacker. What they need to do is watch his tape and use Jalen Smith the same way they used Rhetoric. We have a Rhetoric. They just don't know how to use him. His name's Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith, Joe.
Yeah, man, they do. And that was Mike Nolan lied to us. Mike Nolan was like, "Oh, we're gonna use him like they did and use him off the edge," and they didn't do it. The lunatic in the house. What's up, bro? Free agent is a need. Draft is for best player. Dallas Cowboys for life. Yeah. Free agency for me has always been like a supplemental. Like you're gonna pick up players, but then you might actually draft players in hopes of improving on those guys, right? I think that's what the Cowboys' philosophy is at right now. Mike is like,
yeah,
we're not gonna get these high-end guys. We're gonna get the Clinton Dixes of the world and hope that we can draft somebody or a year two player can bounce them out of here, right? So Reggie Robinson is in that mix. Bradley and I, they're going to bring in some players, but ultimately they're going to want like Bradley and I, they're going to want Reggie Robinson to bounce out some of these guys. It's kind of a weird philosophy, but I think this is what the Cowboys do, Mike.
Yeah, the Cowboys are a mystery box every year around this time. I mean, Cowboy fans have been screaming for safety, screaming for Earl Thomas, screaming for free agents. Every time the Cowboy fans are so desperate. Anytime a fan sees that a player's been cut, they automatically need to be a Cowboy just because the drought of free agency that the Cowboys been in so many years, since 2012, almost 10 years of free agency drought. And when a player gets cut, he automatically has to be a Cowboys fan, a Cowboys player to Cowboy fans. So they're
yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get from the Cowboys in free agency because you just don't know. They could not do anything in free agency, not address their wide receiver position, and then go into the season, lose 4 games in a row, and then decide to get Amari Cooper. You know what I'm saying? So you never know what the heck they're going to do.
Hey, Mike, this comes from QPDO Wasabi. Who would you choose between Malik Hooker or Keanu Neal, or should we draft a safety?
I like Malik Hooker, though. I do like Malik Hooker.
So your answer is Malik Hooker? Okay. Yeah. For me, I would take Malik Hooker over Keanu Neal. But, Keanu Neal might be, depending on how well he what his graces are with Coach Quinn, he might get the edge there. But if it were me, I would probably take Hooker. It would kind of be like a Will McClay reclamation project, but Malik Hooker has the traits. You know what I mean? I think does he need to be in a different system? I say yes. But if they don't go that way, yes, heck yes, we got to draft a safety. And probably really early, to be quite honest. So if they don't do that, and if they don't do any moves at free agency for safety, and I'm talking about somebody really good, not a Clinton Dix or some scrub player like that. If they don't do a move, you got to draft somebody. Yeah, you do.
Well, let's talk about free agency though, Joe. Let's talk about the Cowboys' last 2 years, 3 years, right? With free agency, they haven't hit on anybody.
Yeah. Last year was a train wreck, and I think they know that,
And I think they're going to go. I think they're going to go down the same road, though. I really think they're going to go down that same road. They haven't proved anything different. The last 3 years of free agency has been a complete disaster.
Yeah, free agency was not good for them. I mean, the draft was the saving grace, but yeah, bro, that was crazy. Let's talk about linebackers, guys. If we're talking about free agency, we're kind of forgetting about linebacker, right? And I think this is a position that some people do want to hit on, Mike, as far as, your linebackers, whether it's a Mike, Will, or whatever. Sean Lee, everybody in the chat box, should Sean Lee come back? Should the Cowboys bring him back? Yes or no in the comments to Sean Lee coming back. Should the Cowboys bring back Sean Lee?
No.
Let me see the yes or no's in the chat box. If you want Sean Lee back as a Cowboy, yes or no. Let us know in the comments if you want the Cowboys to bring back Sean Lee. Sean Lee has not declared whether he's going to retire or not. So, I wonder where this is going to go. We should hear something here soon, I would think, or is he just going to go and test free agency himself? Maybe he's going to go to another team. That would be crazy. I would rather bring him on as a coach, Mike, and let his feet get wet, bring him up, and then whenever they decide to move on, down the road, if it's going to be the Kellen Moore show, maybe you got a DC in the making and Sean Lee. You know how the Cowboys are. Yeah, it just feels like that might be something these guys do. So we'll see there. So we do see a lot of no's here for Sean Lee. Time to retire. Give Me Cash says no way. Brooks Colley, coach. We got a hell no with exclamations from John Lindsay. He's definitely not down for that. Let's see what else we got here. James Watson, no, don't need him. Yeah, got a lot of no's here. Need a speed guy, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Paxson, got a lot of no's here. So, yeah, I think that might be where they go, So, I would say if the Cowboys did bring him back, it looks like a lot of fans would kind of be annoyed by it, or they wouldn't really be down for it. So, great question there. As far as linebackers, if you want to add some, because Mike, we do have a lot going out. We talked about this last year. There was a lot of these guys on 1-year deals. Whether it was Justin March, Joe Thomas, Sean Lee. So there is going to be, some churning there. It's just natural. It's going to happen whether it's free agent guys or the draft. Obviously, we do have Francis Bernard in the mix, a fan favorite last season. They kept him. He's still in the team. He'll be in the mix, a special teams guy. Francis Bernard, guys, let me know in the comments how everybody in the chat box feels about Francis Bernard. Does he play a bigger role, or do you want to bring in somebody else? Do you want to draft somebody else? Let us know in the comments how you feel about Francis Bernard, fan favorite from last year in practice.
Francis Bernard, man, they stashed him on the shelf, right? We were screaming for an eye, Francis Bernard. Once Francis Bernard makes a lot of special team plays, I don't know if he's ready to start at a linebacker position. I just don't know that. But I can still see him playing as a special teams guy.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do there, and that sort of thing. Some linebackers that I like that I've kind of touched on, Mike, is going to be somebody like this. I'll put him in the chat box for you guys to check this out. I'm talking about Jayon Brown. Okay, Jayon Brown from Tennessee, 25, 6 foot, 227, a tackling machine, a behind the line of scrimmage guy, so he can get in the backfield. Very versatile linebacker. He'll hit the market. Might be someone the Cowboys want to bring in. You know, how confident are you in the health of LVE? How do you feel about the depth behind LVE? You know, right now as we stand here today, if you were to play a game, the depth is thin. Who do you have? Gifford, he can't even get on the field. He comes off IR, comes back, gets hurt, back up. He's worse than Sean Lee. And I liked Gifford. I thought he had some potential, but dang it, that guy's made of glass, bro.
Matt Johnson 2.0.
Yes, tons of talent, man. But man, he can't stay on the field. So yeah, that's a big concern. Free agency, I think you will see some linebackers brought in here. Joe Thomas might be someone that they bring back. I could see that happening. Another 1-year deal.
I don't know about Justin March though.
Nah, I think he's done. Another guy that I like, guys, I'm putting him in the chat box. Eric Wilson, Minnesota. 6'1", 230, 122, 8 tackles for loss. This is a young up-and-comer linebacker there. He's going to be a free agent. Keep an eye on this one. He can play Sam linebacker. So, you know, if you want to mix it up in nickel, if you want to play around with Jalen Smith as an edge guy, but still have another linebacker out there, Eric Wilson can be that. He can play rotation for you. And he's really good at recognizing the run. He plays the run well. He can get to the quarterback. I like Eric Wilson. He might be somebody that you look at. Mike, another linebacker, and possibly another one of these Will McClay specials. This guy right here, I'm putting him in the chat box, and that's going to be Jared Davis, the former first-round pick for the Detroit Lions, guys. He's going to be out there in the market. Pretty good tackles, man. Pretty good numbers, but he had a falling out with that staff. Okay, so that might be where you need to do some research as far as, is he coachable? Is he a locker room guy? Is he what is the story with Jared Davis there? All right. So he might be someone the Cowboys bring as a rotational kind of guy, depth guy, a Will McClay special, maybe a Jared Davis. All right. So that's a player there, guys, to keep an eye on as far as we're talking about linebackers. All right. Another one here for you guys. I talked about this in my video, and that's going to be Denzel Perryman. You know, 5'11", 240. He's a thumper. This is your classic thumping linebacker. Somebody that I could see play in Quinn's system. 349 tackles in his career there with the Chargers. 26 tackles for a loss. All right, so that's a good number to watch. Tackle for loss, that means he's busting up plays in the backfield, right, Mike? So we're talking about reading the run, busting the play up, hitting the right gap in the backfield. We don't see that. We don't seem to see that from Jalen Smith anymore, if ever. So we need some more linebackers that hit those gaps. You know, that play the run fits better. They bust up these plays in the backfield, Mike. So Denzel Perryman, Mike.
Bring him on. We just got to improve this team, man. You look at overthecap.com, Cowboys are investing $66 million on this defense right now. Tank Lawrence is $25 million of it, I believe. I think I said he's so the Cowboys got $40 million just spread out on defense, and $136 million on the offense. They got to balance this thing out some way, form, or fashion, and they got to get better on that side of the ball. They've been abandoning that defense forever. Dak just got this 4-year deal, and if you don't build that defense up, it's not going to be good. They have to get defensive players on there. You have to be balanced. You look at the teams, the Bucks. You know that they were balanced. They had an explosive offense, even with an old quarterback like the GOAT Tom Brady, and their defense stepped up. You got to be balanced, and that's just what it boils down to. If you abandon this defense, this 4-year contract that everybody's so excited for is going to go down the drain. They got to take care of that defense side of the ball. If they love Dak, you pay them and you take care of them by getting that defense solidified. Yeah,
I see a lot of this argument, you know, and I've actually seen this from other personalities, you know, around saying, here we go again with, let's make the offense so unstoppable we can have a sucky defense. I absolutely do not buy into that theory. I hate it. That theory did not work. I mean, we look at that last year. Last year we got CeeDee Lamb. We're supposed to be 40 burgers. It didn't happen. So some people are talking about, well, okay, let's try it again. Let's get Kyle Pitts, the tight end, and then do 40 burger again. Yeah, it's tempting, but you make a great point, Mike. You gotta be balanced. We've ignored the defense way too long, so we'll see, man. I think that first pick is going to be interesting, and I think it'll shape the way that this draft goes. Like if they do go offensive line there with number 10, I could see the rest of the draft being defense. That I could see happening, So we'll see there. Mike, another linebacker that's getting some buzz here, has some connections to Dan Quinn, is KJ Wright. So KJ Wright has some age to him. He's not too old. I mean, he's 31, 6'4", so he's got some height. And he's a definitely a tackling machine, as you can tell by the numbers in the chat box. 941 tackles in his career, 66 tackles for losses. So this is another very smart player who can read defenses and make a jump and make busted plays in the backfield. Mike, what would you think about KJ Wright reuniting with Dan Quinn?
We talk about leadership, right? You want leadership on your defense. You also want winners too. And KJ Wright checks both boxes, a winner and a leader. Okay. And that's what this defense needs. I mean, Tank Lawrence, there was a shot last year where Sean looked into these guys and Tank Lawrence just sitting there looking dumb, and he's the highest paid player on the team right now. Right now, he's the highest paid player on the team. And he's sitting there looking so lost and so dumb that Sean Lee has to rally these guys. KJ Wright can be that Sean Lee, but also perform better than Sean Lee. So he checks leadership and he checks the box of talent, playmaking ability. That's what we need here on this defense.
Alexander 302 makes a great point here. And this is something that you see when you watch the tape on KJ Wright. He's good in pass coverage too, which I love that. Yeah, I agree, Alexander 302. That's a great point to make on KJ Wright. He's really a well-rounded linebacker. Still has gas in the tank, man. So I think maybe KJ Wright might be kind of tired of this drama that's going on over there in Seattle. Maybe he's like, man, you know what? I'm out of here. Let me go with Coach Quino here in Dallas and see if we can do something. So that might be something that you could get, man. I would actually love the KJ Wright addition at linebacker. I think that would be a great move. Yeah, run stuffer. And that's what we need, right? We need guys that can tackle. Yeah, so I love that. But Mike, I think that's great, guys. We do appreciate everybody that has joined us here. Everybody in the comments, watching live around the world. If you could hit pound, I really would appreciate that before you head out. If you watch this on the replay, hit like on that video. If you stayed around this long, hit like. It helps out the channel immensely. We can't do this without you. And we'll be back next week, obviously, to do another round of this. Free agency is right here. We're coming up on the legal tampering. We gave you a couple of names here. Appreciate the guys that gave us your comments on some of your guys. So appreciate that as well, guys. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already.
Yep, Joe has it right underneath me right there. Cowboys Corner _Cowboys Corner on Twitter, guys. And Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube. Go to thefriscoreport.com for more exclusive content right there, guys, and check all that swag out. But definitely appreciate you guys. The show's been growing. Joe and I, this August will be 2 years doing the Frisco Report, and just another off season in the books, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So great stuff, guys. Great conversation in the chat box. We do see some of the draft conversation going on there as well. Once we get to free agency, we'll kick it hard and heavy with some more draft talk, and we'll get into that as well. But that's all we have tonight, guys. We do appreciate you. We will catch you for the next time. Peace, everybody.